to continue. So bizarre. Did everybody hear that? Like, it's just recently started doing this since the upgrade, and it freaks me out every time. But your ability to consistently be a learner, because maybe you are going to hear some of the same things that you've heard before, but maybe you just haven't been applying them. So you need to hear it again, right? So be open-minded as you come into this and say, what am I trying to learn right now? Like, what is God trying to teach me through this Zoom? How can I get better coming off of here and not feel like I'm just sitting on another Zoom? Okay, so we have some amazing, amazing ladies, and I'm gonna have them share their story, and we're gonna kind of go over like the things that we wish we knew as a newbie, from a mindset standpoint, because let's be honest, if we did the same things we did as a newbie from a work standpoint, we would be flat on our butt, because the things that worked, 3 years ago don't work now. So we're excited to share that. And then we're going to share some current things that are currently working for us. So Bree, I'm going to have you go first, and just kind of tell people where you were before it works, how you found it, and what it's done for you.
Yeah, I like how you just like put me on a spotlight. But I joined this business literally 3 months before graduating college. I realized that, then I was not going to get a job in my field. I was just looking at the market and I was like, it's not going to work. I had my account in overdraft. My Chase bank card was put in overdraft because I could not afford gas. And I literally was talking to a friend at the time, and he was literally like, Bree, you got to be able like to get money in your hand like every single day. I just didn't know how. I tried like online surveys, didn't work. I literally tried getting a second job, literally killed myself trying to do it. And I just honestly like realized that why would I get a second job to make less than what I was making at my first job, which I was like, this is not working either. So I mean, Kelsey, you just got on my inbox one day. I like saw this thing like making an extra $500. And I'm just like, this is not like legit or real. And you kept like following up with me. You kept like, being, persistent with me. And I was just like, well, dang, I'm broke anyway, so why not be broke trying to make money in the first place? I mean, that was my mindset. But to be honest with you guys, like my mindset, I was really young when I joined this business. I know a lot of people are probably younger, but it all had to do with my train of thought at that particular time. Even when I joined this business and just like didn't do anything, like at all. Like I didn't do anything. I didn't show up for team Zooms. Like I didn't step up in leadership. Like I just didn't do anything. But where this business took me, after just being consistent and actually seeing the fruits of my labor, was paying off my credit card debt. I was able to save, and I actually just paid off one of the last credit cards I had 2 or 3 days ago. So that's where this business is taking me, on a completely debt-free journey. It's small debt, but hey, I'm like, debt is debt. And I just actually got approved for my apartment in DC. I just moved on a whim about 2 weeks ago. I just decided to move so last minute, like, because hey, when God says move, you got to move. And I just got approved 2 days ago. And I have the money for my deposit, and I'm not even sweating it. So yeah.
I love it. That's so awesome. Paying off
Mm-hmm.
debt, like you said, debt is debt. Like it doesn't matter how big, how small, like it's debt. And
Mm-hmm.
so that is so awesome. So I'm going to go over to Tracey, and then I'm going to come back to you and ask you a few questions. So Tracey, where are you? Hi, sister. You back off from the farm?
Yeah, I'm a mess. I'm a mess. But hey, I have a farm. I have it. And if I didn't have this business, I
Oh,
wouldn't have this farm.
yeah.
So, and I feel like I've been telling my story every day since Saturday. I've been on all these Zooms. So if you've heard it, I'm sure you'll hear another different part. So um, tonight, I'm just going to tell another little bit of my story. At 50, and I don't know why this was weighing on my mind today, talking to somebody again about this, was, man, I turned 50 and man, I was fat. I was tired. I was like wrinkly. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. I'm going to be like my mom is like now. Oh, Melanie, I hope my sisters aren't on here telling her that. Um, but I was just like, this is it. This is it. This is life. This is it. I'm just going to go to work. I'm going to go to sleep. We don't have any retirement because the travel nurses don't have retirement. My husband's retirement wasn't the best. What are we going to do? Because in 10 years, I don't think I can work another 10 years as a nurse, 12-hour shifts. And I was literally praying all the time, God, please help me. What's the answer? I feel like I'm missing birthdays and everything. This sucks. And I just prayed to him all the time. Oh my God, what's going to happen to us in 10 years? What if my husband got hurt at work? What would we do? My nursing salary wasn't going to pay it. So that being my story, and then all of a sudden I find this crazy coffee that I just fell in love with, was a bitch to the girl that was offering me the business. I flat out was rude to her, said, don't ever ask me to sell this stuff, blah, blah, blah. I ain't got time for that. I just want the extra coffee. That is exactly, Megan, if you're on here, she knows that was our conversation. And she kept pushing me, messaging me, having me put up posts. And I was like, well, I didn't want to put the posts up. I would message her hey, did you message those people? And she was like, no, you're supposed to do. That's how stupid it was, guys. But so then I fell in love with the coffee. I found the results that I was looking for, and it just exploded from there. It was like I wanted to share it with everybody. And that is when my whole life, it just changed and I felt rewarded. And I really wasn't in it for the money. I was in it because I loved helping people. And then I went 8 months later, went triple diamond and was bringing in 5-figure a month checks. And I mean, it just like all happened overnight. And I was like, I thought this was just like some little thing that was going to pay for my coffee. And it is literally a real thing. Even my husband was like, this is real, or is this legal? He's like, is this legal? I'm like, yeah, I think so. It's in our bank and they gave it to me, so we get to keep it. And he was like, we need to really look into this compensation plan and start, really looking at this. And then I realized that, oh my God, at the time that I talked to Megan and she offered me the business, and it never crossed my mind at that time. But a year later, I was like, oh my God, God was answering my prayers that I've been praying for years. Been praying for it. He had put the answer to my prayers in my lap. And I almost didn't do anything with it. I almost treated it like it was a joke. And that was the thing. God gives us those things, but we got to get up and do something with it. And so I can't be more thankful. And every day I think back, every day, not a day goes by. Like today, my grandkids were here and our newest grandbaby. And I'm like, if I had said no when she had asked me, where would I be today? I would be traveling at some stupid COVID hospital. I would be away from my family, probably quarantined from my grandkids. We wouldn't have this farm because my husband was laid off for a year. We would not have had this farm. My nursing salary would not have paid for it at all. We would have lost it. We would have lost everything. I probably would have lost my marriage. Everything would have been a whole different story had I said no. And I didn't follow her. I didn't know her from Adam. I didn't watch her. I didn't know nothing. I seen her coffee on one video. That was it. That was all I needed. And that was it. And I just said, yeah. So don't count yourself out. Stop counting yourself out. You don't know what's out there, and you're not going to know what's out there until you get up and do something with it. I could preach on that all freaking night. I really, really could. So now here I sit 3 years later, freaking living life. People call me crazy for leaving nursing. I retired from nursing 3 years ago. Never went back 3 years ago. And people call me crazy. How would you leave a good career, stable career? What? I paid $99 to get in this business. I paid $75,000 to be a nurse that I was capped out. I could work another 20 years and never make the amount of money I'm making right now. So who's the crazy one? That's what I told somebody today. You call me crazy all you want. Call me crazy, but I'm going to be over here smiling crazy. So,
Crazy rich.
yes, yes.
No, I love it. And I love, like Brielle said, I love how different people's dreams are, but how we're all united by this common denominator that we're willing to listen to what God put on our heart. And even, guys, at the time, I didn't know I was listening to what God put on my heart. It was just like I felt this nudge. That's all I knew. It was like I felt this nudge. But I think that everybody at the end of the day, we're all after happiness and joy. And you know what? We should all have that in the process. We shouldn't wait till we get something to have that. But the reality is that we're happiest when we feel like we're making progress. That is something I wish I would have known when I first started. So I'm going to share a little bit about my story. I actually started, gosh, I think it had been in now 6 years. And I honestly just wanted $500. That's it. I just wanted to get my hair and my nails done and not have to worry about what my husband was going to say for how much it cost. And I think I really honestly wanted more than that, because I mean, I could have made $500 doing different things, but it was like I wanted to be able to make $500 while not changing what else I was doing. Right? It's like, yeah, everybody wants $500. Everybody wants $1,000. Everybody wants $2,000, but at what cost are you willing to pay? And so for me, I jumped in not knowing anything about anything, but I knew that I was willing to learn, and that if somebody else was doing it, then I could learn how to do it too, as long as I didn't have to have any special degrees or requirements, because Lord knows I wasn't going to go back to school. And I just felt like, okay, well, let me try it. And I will tell you guys something. Isn't there something really cool about not really knowing what you should even be scared of? Like when I hopped in, I didn't even know what I should be scared of. I just hopped in and I was like, I'm going to go after it. I'm going to do what this girl, Erin, is telling me to do, because she's really successful. And so if I just follow what she says, then hopefully I'll get the same results. And I want you guys, what I want to tell you guys is, if that is your current mindset, keep that mindset. Don't change it, because that's what this business is. Copy the right cat, follow the right leader, and put your head down and get to work. And you can make a lot of money. And I think for a while, if I'm just being totally transparent with you guys, I have struggled talking about what this business has done for me from a financial standpoint, because I don't want to make it all about the money, because the business has done so much more than just provide an income. But the income is what attracts people. And then you're able to transform other areas of their life through that. And so I want to encourage you guys. What I wish somebody would have told me, and I'm sure Erin did tell me when I first started, is to keep talking about the money, not from a bragging standpoint, but from an opportunity standpoint. I have an opportunity to make money from my phone. Do you? And I literally, that's what I did for like the first 2 years. I had this hashtag. You can search it if you really want to get nosy, Thornton Family Adventure. And I just showed what we were doing. And all I did was say, and I can make money while I'm doing it. My kids were at the pool. Oh, and I'm talking to 3 girls about making extra income while we're here. Oh, we're at a basketball game. Oh, I'm talking to 3 girls about growing out their hair. Oh, I'm watching The Bachelor, drinking a glass of wine. Picture. Oh, I love being able to drink a glass of wine and watch The Bachelor and make an extra income from my phone. It's not so much of what we make it now, and what we can sometimes get caught up in are like the 7-paragraph post. Drop a 1 if you're guilty. You're like, wow, this doesn't sound like a it's not, this doesn't sound like it's from a motivational book, so I'm probably not going to post it. But I'm going to tell you, I never would have joined Erin had she posted 7-paragraph post, because you know why? I could never do that. And I would have disqualified myself. if you keep it simple, guess what happens? You give yourself an opportunity to connect to more people, right? People admire you for how good you can write, but they won't connect to you through that. So keep it simple. And so I think for me, that's like one of the biggest tips is keeping it simple. Like, I swear, when I kept it simple and I didn't get into these like motivational quotes or Pinterest things or whatever, and like try to write this really fancy, cool, inspiring, motivational paragraph about blah, 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 blah. Why am I spending so much time on that? It didn't give me the return. What gave me the return was getting a post out. Not the motivational 7-paragraph one, but getting my post up, simple, messaging, host a post, and now reels and TikToks. So I think if I was to go back and to tell Kelsey in 2000 and what year did I join? 2015. If I was to tell Kelsey in 2015 one thing, it would be keeping it simple. Do not overcomplicate this business because it is simple. It's very simple. The things that work are going to change, but you don't have to make the things that work more complicated than they are. Okay, Bree, go ahead. What is one thing you wish, what year did you join? 2018, Brielle knew and still did, or still was like, that you feel like, I really could have used that piece of information?
Like I said, like I just remember in 2018, like honestly, Kelsey, like me volunteering for things, volunteering for leadership Zooms, opportunity Zooms, like making sure that it's not, there's so many great leaders on this team. In 2018, you and I both know Brielle was not doing that. Like I Ashley used to like have like send me the Zooms, send me voice messages, hop on, hop on, hop on. And I was just so stubborn. I just did the red in me just didn't like, I was like, I don't need self-development. I didn't do self-development my first 2 years of this business. And it clearly like it showed. But I didn't do a lot of the things that I should have honestly been doing. So if I was talking to myself 3 years ago, I would literally tell myself, like, just sit down, stay still, and listen to your leaders, show up. Because honestly, I'm a person that has to like, sit down and listen and, actually be doing the things. But I wasn't also like my consistency, which is part of my blue. Me, Jesus and I having our weekly meetings about that, our, meetings about that. But, and then just also leaning on my faith with God. I did not have that 2 years, the first 2 years of my business, which was a big thing for me. But I would definitely like, I hope this answers your question because I'm like all over the place. But showing up for your business is so important, especially like very early. And well, regardless if you're 6 years in, 5 years in, 3 years in, 2 weeks in, just showing up for it.
I think that that's so true. Like, just continuing to be there, because sometimes like maybe you're just having a day where you're like, okay, I'm mentally, I'm not gonna be able to get everything done, but I'm still gonna show up. I love that.
Yep.
So
Yeah, showing up at, showing, you got to figure out like every day. I used to say like up until probably about 2 months ago, literally, I got to show up at 100%. But like, even with me working out, like I know I just moved 642 miles last minute, and I'm trying to work out at 45 minutes a day for 6 days a week. My body's not meant to like physically there. I mean, it could be there, but it's not there because I'm exhausted. But mentally, I tell myself every day, at what percentage every day am I going to show up for myself, my body, and for my business? Like, and mentally, like what percentage? It doesn't have to be 100% like all the time, because I think like in this business, we get so caught up in being Shay Knox. Like we get so caught up in being, Jade Hoover, all these different people, but we forget that we also have to like give ourselves some serious grace. And, I really, believe like in that. And then now I'm like, okay, I'm going to like minimum, I got to send my messages out. Minimum, I got to show my face on my story. Like I got to do something for my business every single day. It is not always we're never going to operate at our fullest potential every single day. And when I realized that, like, things just changed for me. So
I love that. Tracey, if you could go back and tell Tracey 50 pounds heavier, Tracey, what would you tell her?
Why the hell didn't you find this coffee sooner? Is what I would have told her. Why weren't you on social media watching what everybody else was doing? Because that's what I wasn't doing. I wasn't on social media much. So
going back as like a newbie and like visiting yourself and saying like, what are some things that like you did really well that you're like, yeah, people need to do that. And that's a huge reason why I was successful. And then what's something that you're like, oh, if I would have done that, that would have really propelled me.
Wow. When I had my old Facebook and the memories would pop up, that's when you learn, ooh, what in the hell was I doing? And I have them, even the old pictures on my Android. I'm like, oh my God, did I actually post that? That was like so stupid. When I first started, I was just like everybody else. I had no clue. I had no Facebook. I didn't know what I was doing at all. Literally just would copy and paste whatever Megan sent me. I put it on the wall, and I would message her a million times a day for the first year. I probably drove her crazy. What do I say? What do I say? What do I say? So on that note, my one tip in the beginning, a lot of times I didn't want to message her or ask, or in the group chats and stuff, I would sit in the background because I felt stupid if I asked anything. That was my biggest mistake, because I probably would have gotten a lot further had I just asked the question that had I just asked her, not been afraid, and quit saying, I'm so sorry to bother you. I know you're busy. I hate when people do that to me. I'm like, no, that's my job. So that was one of my mistakes. I didn't get on any Zoom trainings. I was working night shift to boot. So that was one of the reasons I didn't get on. So I started counting myself out, because in all the group chats, they kept talking about, oh, this Zoom. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't on it. I have no clue what they're talking about. I'll just sit back here and be quiet and just pretend like I know what the hell I'm doing. And that was where it took me 4 months before I realized um, I I can watch these recordings, or I didn't even need to watch them. I could just listen. I thought I had to sit there and watch them. I ain't got time for that. That's what that's how I was thinking then. So I'd listen to them on drives, and I'd listen to them when I'd be mowing. I'd listen to them when I'd be clean. I listened to them when we were watching TV, and I had headphones. My husband didn't even know. He thought I was watching TV with him. That's how easy it is. And you just picked up little things, and I started learning new tips and listening. And I knew I couldn't be a Jade. I knew I couldn't be a Cheyenne. I knew I couldn't be Kelsey or Megan. That was just not me. I was 50. So I thought, let me find me. Let me find what I can share. And when I started sharing my story and my struggles and my journey, is when it just went out the roof. Kelsey, you guys know how many LCs I was signing a day, triple threats, 100 BV, 6 to 10 a day for months. And when I looked back, because I remember Kelsey telling, when she said, okay, what were you doing a year ago? What were you doing? They always say, what were you doing a year ago when you were doing really good and signing all those? What were you doing? And when I think back on that, I think I was sharing me. I wasn't trying to be Cheyenne. I wasn't trying to have those picture perfect. I didn't even know what filters were. I didn't know what the Lightroom thing was. Nothing. My pictures were shit. But I just shared me, and people related to it. And I talked about what I like doing. And that was the ticket. I didn't just, when I stopped like being so impersonal in my posts, when I realized, hey, the posts I was copy and pasting, copy and paste them, but turn them into yours. add stuff to it. It's just the body of the post that you want to add to it, and you're going to get a lot of response from it. And that's when it took off. And now I love to share it. I share myself chasing pigs around in the yard in my pajamas. You got to be entertaining, be real. I can't be by a pool in a bikini every day and looking hot and be like, ooh, I'm drinking champagne. That's not true. Nobody would listen to me then. They'd be like, oh, I can't do that. So that's probably my biggest tip in the
I
beginning.
love it. I love
Don't
it.
look left, don't look right.
I think that comparison is such a thing. It's a thing that we all struggle with. And I think it's something that you just have to, you go through it and you realize this is not productive for me. And until you can go through that and realize it's not productive for you is when you just can kind of get over it, and you'll go back through it a little bit. And so if you're struggling with like comparing yourself or feeling like you're not good enough or whatever, first off, know that God has big plans on your life, because the devil doesn't mess with people who don't. So the comparison trap that you're in right now is because the devil's scared of you, and he's putting other people in your path that you can't compare yourself to. The other thing I will tell you is that you're not supposed to be them. And you'll never be as good at being them as they will, and they'll never be as good at being you as you will. And so the reality is we just kind of have to get into the zone and get to work. Okay, so Brielle, I know your life is crazy, but I want to ask about like kind of like even in the midst of this chaotic season where you have a lot of changes going on, how do you work your business? Because I think a lot of people struggle with like finding their rhythm, if you will.
Yeah, cool. So how I'm like literally doing it right now, like perfect example, this morning I was tired, but I was like, I gotta get up. I woke up 5:30 a.m. I usually wake up at 5, but I got a little extra 30 minutes sleep, so don't judge me. I woke up at 5:30 a.m., worked out for about 30 minutes. I think it was close to 30 minutes. Right after 30, did praise and worship, went straight into a power hour. But my power hours like definitely they're definitely different, because in DC I had to learn how to catch a train, and if you miss the train, then I'm not going to get to work on time. So it's definitely making me, more cautious of like where I spend my my time in the morning. But yeah, like if I need to clean out my Facebook, if I need to message some people, like do follow up, add to my list, whatever I need to do at that particular moment, I'm always doing it before I literally leave the door to go to work, because I already know in my mind, like with me trying to get situated in a brand new city is overwhelming. It's, you can have a lot of anxiety. If anybody doesn't know, up north, is definitely different from the South. And just trying to get adjusted to things. So I'm, doing the things that I have to do before I leave my house to go to work. I think that is something people have to just understand, like before my day even starts, like I need to get out the work of this business. If I'm sitting in my car, I'm do like on my story, I'm posting something, or I'm sharing a TikTok. Like I went away for the weekend because it was just so chaotic where I live at, and I just needed peace. And I literally went and booked a hotel for 2 days and did nothing but TikToks the entire weekend. So I have enough content to literally post through the entire week. I even changed my t-shirt because I was like, I don't want people seeing me the same shirt every day. But just literally managing myself like that, because I got a gist of like what my schedule is going to look like, and just with no green in me, just planning for whatever happens. I already have content to post, and literally like if I don't know if like how often you guys have literally been like watching me on like Zoom. So this is what I did on while we were on a leadership call. I literally just did my like timers to make sure, and actually like labeling it what I'm going to do. Like Kelsey, you taught me this, like what am I going to do during those time frames, not just setting an alarm, but just actually writing down on the alarm, okay, 6:30 a.m. is workout, 7:30 a.m. is send 30 messages, 7:45 is, I don't know, wait, follow-ups and stuff like that. So that's how I like prepare myself for success with all the mayhem.
I love it. I love it. And I think that like we have to be very flexible in this business because life is always going to happen. Like, listen, life is going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen yesterday. It's going to happen wherever, no matter how well you think your life has been going or how boring you think your life is. Like, something will pop up that will change it. And so having a plan in place is so crucial because success is not an accident. It's not an accident for anybody. And I think that once we recognize that and we just kind of realize that like, yep, it's going to take intentionality. And that goes for everything. That's success with your parenting, success in your business, success with your kids, like whatever it is, that is so true. Is success is not an accident. Tracey, kind of run us through a day or like how you manage your time and get into your groove.
And I love what Bree does. And a lot of people are so like very adamant on their times. And I've tried that so many times and it never works. It's like I set myself up. So don't count yourself up if you're not that kind of person. There's so many ways and you just got to find what works for you. So like when I was travel nursing, I didn't have like the hour in the morning with my coffee and do all the things. I had to find time. So I would sit in the parking lot 15 minutes before I walked in on shift. When I came out, I would put up my post. When I came out on breaks, I would put up another post. Then I would be messaging people in the morning before I went back to bed. And I just tried to stay on schedule that way. But you got to find what your day schedule is. So my day, I never know how it's going to go. I don't. So, but every morning are my must haves. I have until 9 o'clock in the morning. That is my time to do with what I want. And I found that I'm going to get up, I'm going to drink my coffee, and I'm probably going to drink 2 cups. So what am I doing while I'm drinking my coffee? I do my self-development. Of course, I always do that. And then between that time and the prayer Zoom, I am every morning going to that friends list and going down the list and commenting on at least 20 to 25 people in the morning and adding 2 friends off of their Facebook every morning before prayer Zoom. Then when prayer Zoom comes, that really sets my pace for the day. Now, a lot of times I'll take the next hour and I like to do power hours for other people, but I don't get anything done on them when I do them because I'm so busy trying to tell everybody else what to do. So I kind of like have my own personal power hour, and I've taken all those boards that they shared off the Enrollathons and I've got them there, and I'll do a different one each day. I'll like run through their little power hour spiel on that board that they shared. And I've got several that I'll use, and I'll try and get as much of that done as I can. Now, throughout the day, you guys, when you're sitting, so when people tell me they don't have time, I'm like, bullshit. You're sitting at a red light. A red light is what, 2 minutes and 10 seconds long or something like that. Hey, you know how many interactions or friend requests I can send out while I'm sitting at a red light instead of sitting there bitching about the person in front of me? You know, that's when I get a lot done. When I'm standing at Walmart and you're complaining about how long the lines are, I'm like, oh, thank you, God. This is going to give me some time to get a post up or whatever. And I use that little bit of time to do some of the other stuff throughout the day. Message somebody back, respond back, see who's commented on my post. You don't have to sit down at your desk, and that is the only place you can work. I literally can do it when I'm down in the barn. I'll sit there and take 5 minutes. I'm going to take a break. And I'm going to do something for 5 minutes. Just stop yourself for 5 minutes. If you did that all day long throughout the day, then you're going to just see your business explode. But the one thing that you've got to keep in mind is you've got to have your non-negotiables. I don't care if I'm on my deathbed, but I better damn well have 3 posts up a day. You will never, ever, ever, ever. Now, if I don't get anything else done, if I don't get any messages sent out, which a couple days ago, we were really busy and I got all my posts up, but I had to, 2 days later, I went back and had to go message everybody back. I got my posts, my reels, my stories, all that up for 2 days, but I got behind on messaging everybody. But you have got, if you don't do anything else, at least throw a post up. I don't care if it's an inspirational quote, if it's a recipe, if it's a joke, a meme. Don't share somebody else's, but put something on your wall. If you take one day off from posting, you're done out of their minds. You're going to be off of their feed. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You will. So find your non-negotiables. And so there are non-negotiables that I do every day. By the end of the day, I may not get them all done in the morning, but they will be done by the end of the day. So that is my biggest tip. Don't ever not post. Don't ever not
So would
post.
you say like you do most of your work in the morning?
It depends now because I have two grandbabies and Janie's going back to work. So my schedule is going to change a little bit because I'll be back to driving down there, which is an hour and a half. So that kind of screws my morning. Either I get up earlier, which I really don't want to get up any earlier. I don't. I'm not a morning person. I'm a night shifter. So I'll probably try to get up a little bit earlier. I still won't miss the prayer Zoom because I'll listen to that as I'm driving. I'll still have my coffee. That's not going to change. So why can't I still do my work there? When the babies are sleeping or eating or whatever, I can be doing, you have to pivot on those days. You've got to adjust. So, but in the morning is normally when I like to get all the grunt work done, the stuff I don't like to do. I like to get that done in the morning. I really do. The things that I hate to do, I like to get them done in the morning because then the rest of the day it's fun. It's fun. So
I love that. And I think
that's kind of.
I think sometimes like most of us don't realize it, whether we're morning people or not, but our brains actually work best in the morning. So like you might not, I'm not saying first thing in the morning, but it might be like the first couple of hours after you wake up or the first hour. And like you can get so much done in that time because you're not distracted. And I think if you guys can take one thing away from this is just recognizing that no, don't be so quick to put a box around yourself of what you are or what you aren't, and evaluate right now. If you look at your day, when do you get the most stuff done? I always ask people this question. Actually, I don't always. I recently started asking people this question of, well, when are you most likely to clean your house? Most people say in the morning. Okay, don't clean your house. Go do something else, right? That you're not gonna like that is actually it's gonna give you something back in from a long-term purpose. And I think that when you take that energy, because that's really what it is your energy of working, you're taking that energy and you're putting it into the work instead of putting it into your house. And then eventually, this is what happened for me. I just started paying somebody to clean my house because I could. Right? Like if I don't enjoy cleaning, I'm just going to make enough money to where I can pay somebody else to do that for me. And then you're free up more time. And so I think that what I would tell you if you're on here and you're kind of like, I don't know where to fit it in my day, like you can get so much done with the time that you think that you don't have. And I think that often we aren't aware of where we're putting our time. We'll think that, well, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. And it's like, you can get so much done in this time or that time that you're spending. Like I remember I would wake up in the morning when I was working full time, and I would get ready, and then I would have like 10 minutes, and I would send all my follow-ups in 10 minutes. And you want to know what I did? Because I'm not organized. I did not put all this stuff in this notebook, and I opened up my notebook and I was like, oh, let me take some time and drink my warm coffee. And no, all I did, I opened up my phone, I looked back at my previous conversations from the last day and just said, hey, sorry, did my message come through? Facebook is being weird. That's my follow-up. That's it. Like, it's really not like, oh, let me go find this perfect follow-up message and figure it out. Because how many of you are guilty? Drop a 2 if you're guilty of spending more time actually sending the messages. More time actually looking for the right message to send than actually sending the message. Drop a 2. You spend so much time looking for the freaking perfect message that you actually don't even spend that much time sending the freaking message. So what does it matter? It's not about the message, y'all. It's about the amount of people you message. I'm telling you, hey, did you get my message? Has worked for me more times than some beautiful long paragraph that somebody posted and said, hey, this is a great follow-up, is working great. Cool. It's so simple and we complicate it. We complicate it. And I think, yep, were you interested or did I catch you at a bad time? Same thing with posting. God bless America with how much time I have spent trying to find the perfect caption for the perfect post that got me 0 conversations. 0 conversations. You want to know what got me conversations is when I would post these horrible pictures and just put like four words. 4 words. I would put like 4 words. That's it. And people were like, oh, it's so cute. Like, it is just being relatable. That's all it is. Like, I know it's very tempting, and I've fallen into this trap as well, where we look at people with their perfect bodies and their perfect filters and their perfect hair and their perfect lips and their perfect whatever. And we're like, I need to do that. No, you don't. That's not you. And that's not what got you to where you're at. And it's not going to get you to where you're going to go. What you need to do is stay in your lane. Mind your business. Find a couple people who you don't compare yourself to, but you are inspired by. There's a difference. You need to find people that you are inspired by, but you're not comparing yourself to. Being inspired will raise the level of your performance. Being compared will drop the level of your performance. Which one are you doing? Because yeah, it could be the same person is really awesome for Tracey to follow and Tracey's so inspired, but that same person makes me feel like crap about myself and I get stressed and get anxiety every time I look at what that person's doing because I'm comparing myself. It's not like something's wrong with the person. It's just for me that it's not registering well. So have that awareness of how you're thinking. Like, oh gosh, every time I look at a post from this person, it kind of gives me anxiety, like I'm not doing enough. But every time I look at a post from that person, I'm thinking, dang, what else can I do? Because that was really cool what she did. Do you guys see the difference? And I promise if you switch that, your mindset will change because mindset is the biggest indicator of success in this business. It's the biggest indicator of success. So, Bree or Tracey, do you guys have anything you want to add?
I'll add something on that just from what you were saying. That was so good, Kelsey. I totally forgot what it was called. So when you're talking about, what I hear a lot from distributors is, I don't have anything to post about. I don't have a life or whatever. And you guys do. Everybody does. Anybody could tell me what about them, a little bit about them, and I could guarantee I could come up with some posts on it. But so everybody sees my post and like, God, does she ever work? She's always posting about what she's doing all day long, and so a lot of times I got to remind them, I'm working. I get to do this. But so when you not clock out, but when you're done doing your work, go do the things that you normally do, like with your kids, or maybe it's reading a book. I don't know. Everybody's life is different. Share what you're reading, share what you're doing, share that you're doing nothing, share that you're just hanging out on your porch, share that you're swimming with your kids. Use that. I had somebody ask me the other day, oh, how am I going to work this business? I'm going on vacation. I'm like, what? That's like gold. That's gold. I need a vacation because that's like so much posting content. You can tag where you're at. No matter, you can take pictures no matter where you're at. Those are like, you can be posting all day. So stop. Don't like she said, don't make it so harder than what it is. Just keep being you and share you. Take tons of pictures. I guarantee you the majority of the pictures on my posts are, sometimes I scroll back through my photo albums back to last year at this time, just so the trees are the same color and everything. And my feet are, in sandals and not in snow boots. Take pictures all the time because you never know when you might want to use that picture for a post. Because I'll come up with a post and I'm like, oh, what picture could I use for that? Oh, I got the perfect one from 6 months ago. It was perfect. So always be taking pictures of anything that you're doing. And even if you're not going to post about it right then and there. But definitely look at that 5 pillars video that Brittany Landrum did. It was gold. That was literally gold. If you're struggling on lifestyle posts, but please put lifestyle posts in between your product posts, because people are going to fall in love.
Uh-oh. I think she cut out.
He didn't want me to talk.
Well, I get
The devil wanted me to shut up.
You're back.
Yes. I was just saying about people will fall in love with you, and then they're going to be like, then they're going to see you in a post drinking this red stuff, doing whatever you are doing, sweating your butt off, working out or out in your garden or whatever you're doing. And then they're going to be like, well, I really like her. What is she talking about, this drink that she's drinking to hydrate herself or whatever? I want to ask her about it. They're going to get in your inbox. I get more people in my inbox than I do on comments on my posts, because people, they're going to like you. They're going to trust you. They're going to gain trust. And then they're going to, when they see you talk about something you're using, they're going to be interested in it, because it's just like TikTok leggings. If you bought a pair of TikTok leggings and you were talking about how good they made your butt look and everything, people are going to be messaging you, hey, she got them, so they must be cool, or they must work, or she wouldn't have got them. So think of it that way. Just think of it that way. And then when people say, the other biggest thing I hear is that they can't get distributors. Okay. I tell you, my distributors that I signed today were people that have watched my posts and my story and my life for the past a minimum of a month or two. A minimum of a month or two. I don't think I've ever signed a distributor that just seen a post I put up, messaged me, and joined. Ever. I don't think I have. Other people have. But that's why I feel so important about, you've got to share what the business is doing for you, whether it's putting gas in your car. Like I tell people, go to the store, throw the best T-bone that you see on that rack in your basket, take a picture of it, put it back on the shelf, and say, my bonuses are going to pay for T-bone dinner for my family. You didn't say it was today, but that bonus you're going to earn is going to buy that T-bone one day. So just think of ways that you can incorporate it. That's all I have.
That's so good. It's so good. And like manifesting that and believing that, because when you speak that, like it does something in your brain where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm visualizing it and something awesome is happening. Bree, before we hop off, did you have anything else you want to add? That was so good, Tracey.
No, that was awesome, Tracey. One thing I've been really doing with my self-development lately, because in 2020 I had to like my first 2 years of business, I said I didn't do self-development. But what I really focused on this year was getting away from motivational self-development and self-development that actually provided me a skill set. Because I think a lot of the times, like I love her. I just don't listen to Rachel Hollis anymore. Rachel Hollis, I'm sorry, like at a certain point, like after the first book, Girl Wash Your Face, and then her second book, I just, I saw a lot of that as very motivational. I don't want to feel good anymore when I get off of a Audible. I want to actually be able to take things and just be able to apply it in my business. So I was listening to this podcast, Girl CEO, and she was talking about marketing towards, like things we already know. But it's just good to get it, like get different skill sets, and how she made money off of social media back in like 2009, like when like dinosaur age social media type stuff. So really just learning different, like how different people apply skills. Cause I mean, we all know the basics of how to operate our businesses, like our business, with the skills provided for us. We're just seeing like how other people are, what other skill sets people have to also make other, different, like, not different streams of income, but how to produce and make things, I guess, better in your own business. So I'm always like a student in that way. So I guess my thing is always like be a student, stay away from, at a certain point, like in this business, stay away from the motivational self-development, because if something's just not, if it's like leaving you just like hype at the end, and then like an hour later, you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna do that. Like, okay, like we're like, it's not teaching you anything beyond that. I just strongly advise stepping away from it, because you just tune out and be careful to like who you're listening to as well. So that's my biggest tip.
So good, so good. In using self-development for a skill and not necessarily just for motivation. So good. One thing I want to leave you guys with is the 3 C's. Okay. Number 1, commitment. Commitment. You have to commit to doing this. Not if you're successful, but doing it. And here's something that people struggle with commitment. And what I see probably the biggest error people make is they don't give themselves room to change. Okay, I'm going to do this business, but they didn't change nothing to fit the business in. So they say they're going to do the business, but they're not changing anything to help the business fit into their life, right? And so you have to visualize yourself as the business owner you want to become. How do you want this business to fit into your life? What do you want that to look like? When do you want to work the business? How is that going to feel? You visualize it. This literally amazing what happens when you can visualize how you want this business to look a year from now, because it also works on the other side. Oh, well, I don't want this business to like take over my life, but then what do? We keep thinking about it taking over our life, and then what does it do? It takes over our life. But if you visualize how you do want it to fit into your life and not take over your life, it's amazing what can happen. So number 1, commitment. Number 2, consistency. You'll hear this preached all day, every day. You'll be like, this is consistently the most boring message I've ever heard, but it's only preached consistently because of how important it is, because it matters that much. Okay. And then the last one is coachability. Are you coachable? Are you committed? Are you consistent? And are you coachable? And here's the thing. This quote is one of my favorite quotes. I heard it the other day. Write it down if you need to. If you don't know where you're going, you're probably going to end up somewhere else. If you don't know where you're going, you're probably going to end up somewhere else. And so give yourself permission to be imperfect, you guys, in this process. Give yourself permission to be imperfect, and just know that we can be on here and we can give you all the tips, but we can't work your business for you. And I'm so excited to see what happens when you work your business and you commit to what you're going to do here, and you visualize how you want this business to fit into your life, whether it's you want to have the freedom to move to DC on a whim because you can, or you want to raise some cows on a farm. Okay. We got it all here, and there is room for everybody, but it's up to you for your commitment, your consistency, and your coachability. That part's up to you. I love you guys. I want to pray us out real quick. Dear Lord, thank you for your presence. Thank you for being here. You always show up when we ask, and we're so grateful for that. Thank you for speaking through Bree and through Tracey, and just for their courage, the courage that you've given them. We thank you for every single person that's under the sound of my voice or that will hear this recording. We just want to say thank you for the life that you've given them. I want to say thank you for this opportunity that you've placed in our laps, because we know it truly is that. It's an opportunity that not everybody gets, that not everybody's been exposed to, but you've put it in our laps, and you've put us here for such a time as this. And we don't know what's going to happen, Lord, and we don't have to figure out how we're going to do it all. We just have to keep showing up and trusting in you. And so we thank you. We put you at the CEO of our business and our organization, and we ask that you help guide it and bless the work that we put our hands to. In your name we pray. Amen. I love you guys, and I hope you have an awesome week. Let's kill it. Bye, guys.